a good friend.
Hello. Welcome to The Revealing. I'm your host, Pavoratii, here to discuss the Idaho 4 case. As a disclaimer, this channel's for entertainment purposes. These are my opinions, not here to slander, so let's get started. Just want to make you a quick video. And in this one, I have to correct my timeline. Now, y'all know when I put information on my timelines and I find out later on that the information is inaccurate, I will adjust it. It probably is not what I'm about to adjust is what you think I'm about to adjust, because I know those people out there love to try to make videos and do everything to discredit Pavoratii's documents. But folks, in this case, if you can only look at a document by itself and try to determine the facts on it, well, you're lost in the case anyways. You might as well just give it up and go hang out for trial. When I show my subscribers documents, it's pieces in a puzzle. And if you have the ability to look outside of the box, then you would see how those pieces fit in that puzzle. But a lot of these folks out here just don't. I mean, they just look at a box and they go, well, that thing's got how many sides? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there's only 6 sides on that box. It's a box. That's all they can do. So y'all continue spending your time thinking that, oh, let's point this out and this out. This is wrong. You're missing the whole case. And what I want to do to adjust the timeline, because things are hidden so well. See, TF. There's no listing in the Idaho court docs of the date that they actually picked TF up in Spokane, Washington after he absconded on October 21st. And they've hidden everything in Spokane. So I've had a heck of a time finding his arrest in Spokane. So the only thing that I could use to verify the date that I put on the timeline was the news reportings in Moscow about them picking TF up on his absconding in Spokane. And it said they picked him up on December 2nd. So that's why I had December 2nd on the timeline. Turns out that isn't correct. He was picked up in Spokane on November 23rd, 10 days after the atrocity. That's shocking. That also means that between November 23rd and at least December 2nd, he was in somebody's possession. Now, my speculation is that was the feds. He spent that time with the feds. So anything the feds knew on this case before those little Moscow PD guys knew, you can bet it came from TF, because they had him locked up somewhere, probably doing some heck of a interrogation on him to get the information that he gave them. Now, whether that information was accurate or not, you know, we've already determined what we feel about that. But let me show you what I got here, just so you can see where I found it finally. And they've hidden everything about that arrest, so I'm going to continue to dig until I find all the information on it, and I need to know who he was arrested with, because that's going to tell a big story. Let's do this. Wait a minute. What am I doing here? All right, okay, so here we are right here. Okay, so this was actually his court information in Spokane Superior Court. Here is the defendant, here's the case number, and here is his arrest date, November 23rd, 2022. So I will be updating that on our timeline of events in the atrocity. And that 11/23 sure puts it a heck of a lot closer to 11/13, doesn't it? And so it makes the case even more compelling from that aspect of it, in my humble opinion. But here's the other thing I wanted to share with you, because as I go through this, I know a lot of times when we start talking about, you know, these people turning into informants and how the organizations react to the informants and how they even determine if they are informants. And a lot of times when I do that, I guess I probably sound a little bit like pain in the PCA with my experience and training tells me this is how they think. This is how this happens. So it's always nice if I can give you just another point of view other than myself. Because as I was looking for this information, I came across this neat little article I want to read to you. You may find it interesting. And this is dated March 12th of 2024. This is right there in Spokane. And as you know, Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, they border each other. So, I mean, it's almost like the same place. However, what they're discussing in this took place back in January of 2022. So while it's not involved in our case, it has some striking features, I assure you. So let me just read this to you. And it says, the Spokane drug dealer involved in large-scale drug trafficking conspiracy and violent Spokane area shooting sentenced to 11 years in the federal prison. Okay? Let's read it here. Wait a minute. Let's make it bigger where I can see it. All right. Spokane, Washington. Vanessa R. Waldroff, United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Washington. This is federal. Announced today that Amy Catherine Riggs, female, 36, of Dayton, Washington, was sentenced after pleading guilty to conspiracy to distribute 500 grams or more of METH, 400 grams or more of fent. U.S. Senior District Judge Rosanna Maloof Peterson imposed a sentence of 132 months in prison, to be followed by 5 years of supervised release. According to court documents and information presented at the sentencing hearing, a Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, was investigating a drug trafficking organization with significant ties to the Eastern District of Washington. A lot of Eastern District of Washington organizations, aren't there? Investigators developed information that Riggs was a key facilitator for the organization, as well as one of its biggest clients. The evidence showed Riggs was obtaining and distributing approximately $125,000 worth of METH and FENT pills into the community per month. Riggs would receive between 1/2 to 1 kilogram of H, up to 10,000 F pills, and 1 to 2 pounds of MTH. That's how much they would receive, I guess, per month. Well, that's a lot. Now, this is what I found very interesting. See if you do as well. When members of the organization were arrested by law enforcement, Riggs would attempt to determine if they were rats. Meaning cooperating. She would also go to the organization locations where search warrants were executed and collect the search warrant returns, documents required to be left by law enforcement, itemizing the items seized. She would take anything of value law enforcement might have inadvertently missed. For example, when a search warrant was executed at an organization stash house on Maxwell Avenue in Spokane on January 2022, law enforcement located over 3 keys of FENT, a 1/2 pound of METH, a 1/4 pound of H, and several firearms. On that same date, a drug courier was arrested as he came out of a stash house on South Hill with over 2 keys of MTH, just shy of the 2 kilograms of F pills, a large amount of U.S. currency, and multiple firearms. Excuse me. Following the execution of these search warrants, Riggs reported to the leader of the organization in Mexico the items that were seized and checked the jail rosters to ensure the individuals were booked in jail, noting to the leader that if they were not, they knew the organization had a rat in its inner circle. It goes on to say, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it goes on to say how they eventually caught up to the rat and shot him, or who they thought was a rat, and they got him for that. Because that's how, the Mexican cartel handles their business. But there's no proof that this guy that they shot was even an informant. But he's arrested, and you can bet this is exactly how these people think. Somebody's setting us up. We got a rat in the midst. They go through as much as they can possibly go through to determine in their minds if they are rats. And then they determine the outcome based on their inferences, based on their training and experience in the drug world. This is how things happen, folks. And this is right up there in Spokane, just, I don't know, it's not very many miles from right there in Moscow. So if you think it doesn't happen in Moscow, but it happened in Spokane, well, then you're fooling yourself. And all these people that want to think that this Kohberger case is about this troubled young man that decided to go in and methodically eliminate 4 people inside of 8 minutes for no gratification to himself whatsoever, right? Just the point of going in and just unaliving people and then getting out of there. That makes a lot of sense. When you got this stuff right here happening all around it, and there's so many things involved in this case that points to that, yet they want all these people to believe that's what happened, and these people will literally go through and try to pick apart anything that doesn't coincide with the media's narrative. I mean, I'll give you one last analogy of these folks that go through and pick apart stuff. It's like their husband is supposed to be home from work at 5 o'clock. Instead, he shows up at midnight, booze on his breath, lipstick on his collar, smelling like perfume. And they say, "What happened to you? Why are you so late?" He says, "Well, I had 2 flat tires. What about the lipstick?" "Well, I bought chapstick and I thought it was chapstick. Turns out it was lipstick. Got it on my collar." "Well, why you smell like perfume?" "Well, I went in the gas station to wash my hands and they had a cologne machine there, and that's from that machine." And instead of them saying, "Dude, hit the road," these people would say, "Well, honey, do I need to go find you a new set of tires to make sure this doesn't happen again?" I mean, that's literally what we're dealing with here. But I'm not going to get frustrated by these people anymore. I just wanted to keep you updated on the case. And that's where I'm at right now, and I will find this, and I will keep digging. Until I do, though, like and subscribe to the channel. Post your thoughts, post your comments, post your criticisms. Pavoratii is out.